6 is hem length. Hem length down 45 from the waist. I'm going to get you to watch this technique because it is the most common one that everyone does wrong and has to resubmit. Okay? I am going to draw myself a line between on my front waist, right to my centre front, so I can clearly see my front waist. From that point there, I'm going to measure down 45 centimetres. Because my ruler happens to be exactly 45 centimetres, I'm going to align that first portion of the line and then continue drawing. When I get to the end of my ruler, I'm going to do a little bit of a mark. Now this is where everyone goes wrong. So if you're not watching and you do it wrong, sorry about that. So from now on, all I'm going to measure is from the bottom of my hip to that mark, which is 20, for me it's 20, you've got to measure what yours is, 25.3. I'm now going to jump across to my side seam, 25.3, and join those 2 points together. Okay, so we don't measure down 45 and 45. We start off at the centre front, measuring down 45, rule the line as we do and draw a mark. We then measure, from now on we measure at our hip, 25.3, 25.3, join those 2 marks together, and I'm going to square, and you'll notice that I'm squaring down from my hip line down to my new hem, and rub back anything that overruns. So anything that overruns, rub back. So I should now have a beautiful rectangle. It's almost a square, but it's not quite, at the bottom here. Okay. First thing I did, I lined up my ruler with the waist, drawing my waistline, lined up the ruler with my waist, drew that line because my ruler is exactly 45 centimetres, and did a mark at the bottom. Measured from my hip line to the mark, drew that same hip line and drew in a mark. Rule off my hemline, square off from my hip at the side seam, square off here, all the way down. Rub back what you need to. Once we've done the front, we're going to move to the back. When we do the back, we do not measure anything from the waist. We just take that same measurement that we extended from our hip line down, and we add that to our back hip line down. So for our back, we don't measure from anywhere from the waist. All I do is extend my centre back line down. And for me, my number was 25.3. From my hip line down, I'm measuring in 25.3. So for the back, we don't measure anything from the waist, we only measure from the hip down. So we're basically, and then we square it off at the side seam. And then rub back the excess that we have coming over. So all I've done from the back is I've measured down on my centre back, down 25.3, side seam at the hip line down 25.3, squared across that line, squared it down from my hip. The left hand side when worn, in the side seam facing to the back, just like the skirt you've just done. Okay, so back doesn't measure from waist at all. It only measures exactly like you've done your front. You measure from the hip down the same. Draw the line. If you measure from your waist, your 2 side seams will not match. You only place you measure from your waist is that very first centre front measurement.